what is a crazy story from your fight career or life in general? Okay, so you might be biting off more than you can chew. This is a pretty crazy story. I don't know if you're ready for this level of crazy, but a couple years ago, I used to go to a local open mat, and it was fantastic. Like, there was probably 30, 35 people there every Friday night, you know, just from all over the Metroplex, all different schools. Everybody was super cool, and you would just go and get like killer rounds. And so every once in a while, this like random guy would show up, and I don't know if anybody really knew who he was or where he trained. It was just an open mat. Nobody really asked questions. Everybody just gets in there and trains. So like, I don't know what school he supposedly trained at or whatever, but he was really athletic looking, like nice physique, like kind of intimidating looking, because you're like, wow, this guy's in really good shape. But then like once you started to roll with him, you would realize the guy knew nothing. He was just strong. And so even me, he's probably 185 pounds. Like, as long as I managed to not get locked down by him, like as long as I could keep transitioning, I could always stay ahead of him and stay in good position. Anyways, so random guy, nobody knows who he is. And then a couple of years ago, a girl from a local college who was a Vandagriff, which in the area, I guess it's just a really prominent family, very rich, has done a lot for the community. There's like Vandagriff car lots, Vandagriff Park, streets named after them, whatever. So this girl was a Vandagriff, and she went to one of the local colleges, and she was missing, and then they ended up finding her in pieces. She was murdered, found burned pieces of her body, all kinds of stuff, like very gruesome. Come to find out, the last person she was seen with was the random guy that would just come to the open mats. And, you know, through their investigation, come to find out, like, she went out with him one night or met him at a bar, and they're seen on film, and then she disappears. He's seen at like Walmart or something buying shovels and like kerosene and kiddie pools at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And then come to find out, I don't know exactly what happened, but she was last seen with him. Something happened. He ends up killing her, cutting her body up into pieces and trying to like burn her body in the kiddie pool and like bury it. It's super, super crazy. So yeah, the guy's in like prison now, but it was just like, everybody was like, what? That was that guy that used to come to the open mat? And apparently it was, and apparently he was a psychopath. So there's a crazy story. Like I said, that may have been way more crazy than what you were wanting, but that's my crazy story. The next question is talking about my education and what I would be doing if I were not fighting. So I actually graduated high school early. I did it in 3 years. And then like the last semester of my senior year, I ended up taking like a full load of college courses. So by the time I actually made it to college, I was already almost a senior, or I mean, sorry, not a senior, a sophomore. And so then it only took me like another 2 years to finish my associate's degree. So I did that by the time I was 20, and had an associate's degree in nuclear medicine. And then I worked, you know, for a couple of years in the field and ended up going back to school to build on that. And I got my bachelor's in radiologic sciences. And then, you know, I worked in the field for like 10 years. And then in 2015, I decided to go back. I wasn't quite sure where I was headed. I just felt like there was really not a lot of upward mobility in my job. And so I ended up going back to school again. And I got my MBA from UTA Arlington. And not sure what I'm going to do with that, but, you know, hopefully it, you know, opens doors and gives me options for later in life, whatever I choose to do. If I weren't fighting, you know, I'd probably just be working in like hospital administration or something at this point. What are my thoughts on my next fight and how I feel about that? After my last fight, I, you know, was really disappointed with my performance and, you know, really didn't have anything that went wrong in camp. I just, you know, for whatever reason, couldn't put things together like I needed to. And, you know, I had been thinking about a mental coach, and I don't know, maybe whatever, you know, maybe the universe heard me or whatever, but I actually had a guy reach out to me, shout out to Mindset Mike, and he and I have been working together. And, you know, I was just like, at this point, you know, I have nothing to lose. You know, I might as well give this a try and see if this is what I've been missing, and just training my mental focus and having a little bit of a mental edge coming in. So I'm excited to see, you know, we've been working together for a couple months and really just kind of gaining like a whole new perspective on what I do and why I'm doing it. And, you know, one of the major things that we focus on is, you know, the only things that I can control are my effort, my attitude, and my aggressiveness. And outside of that realm, everything else is beyond my control. And so let all those things go. So I'm excited to see if, you know, this mental training has been, you know, the key factor that I've been missing.